Hey there guys, King Phoenix here, and today I'll be bringing you a beginner's guide to the newly released game Valheim. This is a Viking survival game which has just dropped on Steam. This is a guide to get yourself up quite nicely and have you get ready to enjoy your adventures. Let's get to it. To begin the game, you get flown into the world like you're being grabbed by a griffin straight from Ark, and then you get to do a superhero landing.
You gotta do superhero landing. Superhero landing!
After that, you talk to Gothica the bird, and then you're on your way. And now it's time for tip number 1. First of all, wood and stone are going to be your primary building tools, but as much as this is helpful between getting these supplies, run and jump everywhere. The game is made up from leveling basic skills like running, jumping, swimming, log cutting, and so on. So if you have energy to spare, which is your small yellow bar in the middle of the screen, level up some of them abilities. You never know when it's going to save your life. This leads us on to tip number 2. Food. Food is one of the most important parts of this game as it directly affects how much health you have and your stamina regen. Early game berries and mushrooms can be gathered from the ground, but as soon as you have the tools for a club or an axe, start hunting for boars and the things that look like a tadpole and a murloc had a baby. These will drop you 2 different types of meat. The food system is quite unique, as you can only eat up to 3 foods and they all give different boosts to your stats, and you cannot eat more than one of the same food, so pick carefully what you're going to nom down them bearded throats. Early game, we recommend cooked meat, necktails, and mushrooms for a good health boost. As much as deer are also high in numbers early game, I do recommend leaving these alone for now. Think of these more of a late early game mob as they are very hard to hunt down without the bow. To get the bow, kill boars to get enough leather scrap to craft this within the workbench. From this point, deers are on your list of easy prey. These do drop the same meat as boars, this is why we recommend saving them for a little bit later on. As a very quick tip number 3, if you've ever played Breath of the Wild, you know about their swimming stamina system. The same in this game, if you have no stamina, you will just drown. So stay out of the water unless you've got a full energy bar, because as you can see, it goes down very quickly. Moving on to tip number 4, building. Getting a house within your first day, as much as it's not needed, is highly recommended. Near your summoning circle you start by, you will normally find some pre-rendered houses. I recommend having a look around these to make a temporary shelter. Do avoid the ones with the beehives in, as these will poison you. I will show you how to deal with them later. Keep an eye out for the ones that are at least 2x2, which give you enough room to place a workbench and a chest to store some basic items to stop you being over encumbered. Once you've done this, build a fireplace close to your house, as when it comes to upgrading your workbench, you will unlock the option to build a bed which will let you set a respawn point, and this can also be used to skip the night, but it does need to be near a heat source, so keep this in mind. Once you've placed a fire, set up a cooking rack which needs to be located over the fireplace to begin cooking the meat and necktails we spoke about earlier. Make sure your house has a door and a roof over your head. You'll know it's secure when the symbol in the top right appears and the game states you're resting. This gives you a high stamina and health boost, and you always want to make sure your home is secure in case of any raids. These do get harder the higher level zones you go into, but are pretty easy to complete early doors. Tip 5 is resource gathering. Much as getting levels for your skills is important, sometimes you just want to get that wood a bit faster to build that children's treehouse you were always promised but never received. The best way to do this is trees primarily will fall away from the player, and we can use this to cause damage to trees around the one we cut. For the example shown, I cut a tree down and it had fallen onto another tree where you could see the other tree took some health damage. Get these angles just right and you can have multiple trees falling down just from one tree being chopped. Either way, it helps you cause damage to nearby logs, making them easier and quicker for you to chop down the next. Just be warned though, the trees are not biased, and if you're in their way, they'll come for your health instead. I almost forgot to mention, best way to get more wood as well is to make sure you're on an angle where you will hit multiple trees at once or multiple logs at once. You may notice a small decrease in damage, but overall you'll get more experience and you'll chop faster in the long run. The next tip is another quick one. This is tip number 6. Always look around the beaches and riverbeds to look for flint. Flint is a step up from stone and can be used to make a flint axe, flint knives to begin leveling up bladed weapons, and is also needed for the wood cutting station, which levels your workbench up to level 2. These are also used to make higher graded arrows, so keep that in mind and always pick up any flint you do see on the floor early game. This next tip is just a very quick run through your user interface, as it isn't explained very well in the game. So, on the top you can see the bird, which will show your active effects and all of your message logs and all the things you've done with your bird that follows you around. Your second one shows you your skill sets and the levels. Yellow is the level you are out of maximum, and red is the percentage to the next one. You have trophies, which shows you which trophy heads you have got, and the last one is for PvP, damage enabled and disabled. This of course is if you are playing on multiplayer worlds or with friends and you want to duke it out to see who's the best Viking of all. Tip number 8 is about the bow. The bow does have arrow drop when firing, so it is best to keep this in mind. For maximum damage, use stealth to sneak up on some prey or the pesky beehives, and you want to shoot a little bit above where you are looking to hit. If you aim directly at the target, you will see the arrow fall into the floor, and it does alert the thing you are aiming for, so they can either attack or flee. Getting used to the amount of arrow drop for the range you fire is something you will have to learn for yourselves. It will just come with practice, so I recommend using it on everything you see, as you can make wooden arrows very cheap. Keeping the bow pulled back does use stamina, so do keep an eye out for that stamina gauge. Our next tip is number 9. Most people don't know you can ping and set waypoints on the map. It's very easy and simple to do. Just press M on your keyboard and it will open up the map. With this you can set waypoints to help you find your way around. Simply pick the icon you want from the bottom right and double left click on the map to set an icon which you can then name. If you do not want this anymore, you can left click it again to cross it out, which can help you mark which areas you have cleared. If you want to remove it altogether, just right click it and it will delete itself. You can also ping to other players by pressing the middle mouse button or mouse button free to ping the map for a very short time. Last of all, tip number 10. This one is pretty self-explanatory, but can be the difference between life and death. If you come across any of the Scribe stones, it's always worth a read. They can give you helpful hints and tips on how to tame creatures, if you're going towards a dangerous area, or just praise to the gods, as that Nord priest has to spread his message into every game I play to irritate me further. Leave a message in the comments if you get the reference. Along with the Scribe stones, as much as the bird farm Wendy from the Addams family can get annoying with their constant pop-ups, they do give some word of warning. On this occasion, I was about to go into a higher level zone, and good old Corviknight spared me the thrashing. Still a little bit late, as the locals had already arrived with their welcome sticks to whack me with, but the warning did come from a bird. I can't be picky. And there we have it, 10 beginner tips to help you get set up in the world of Velheim. I hope this video has been helpful, and if you would like to see more intermediate tips and tricks videos showing what's coming up later in the game, please let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up to show me you enjoyed the content and that you'd like to see more Velheim. I'm King Phoenix, and thank you very much for watching.